Hey, we're back. I'm here doing this live because doing it at night again because just work's catching up with me, guys. It was nice. It was a nice fun time hanging out with you guys in the AM here at the studio. But man, that would mess up my day. But it's fun, I think NFTs they're kind of addicting in this way, and instead of just talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and things that have, I think, a lot of fun that just dropped yesterday. Big, huge success on Wax. Wax is really doing a great job and incorporating a lot of, nostalgic brands. They work with Tops, they work with Garbage Pail Kids, and so they have these great brands that they're bringing to their platform, into Wax. They've made it easier. I was really into Wax very early on when Garbage Pail Kids hit, because I was a fan of those, like, as a kid, so, I was, like, building up my wallet and trying to find ones that I thought were interesting. But I just kept seeing, the more I sort of sit, and I think that was probably the benefit of the early days. Like you would sort of miss out a little bit, but you would also kind of get to observe markets and how the creators were responding to those markets, and the ones on Wax were just continually minting. And I think that's kind of the idea with Wax is like, here you have a set of NFTs, and if they sell, we'll just make more and then more, and then but not just more, but let's tweak them. Let's give them a silver foil stamp, or maybe just augment, animate them. That's where I almost went to with the original Cyclops. I thought that was so rad. The Garbage Pail Kid that they animated, and so I think that's fun and cool. But for this channel, and what we're hoping for is sure, let's collect and have fun. But also, like, let's generate ideas that are great for the format, and how to, I think, incorporate blockchain differently. So Funko, who makes the NFT for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they license the turtles, and they say, okay, great, we're going to sell these NFTs, and if you get the rare ones, you're going to be able to collect in real life, IRL, a Funko Pop doll. And so you'll get a physical doll with your NFT. That's a way to sell things, and I think that's cool, and I think it's a great experiment in how to sell merchandise. Because for me, if you've been watching some of the videos on the channel, you'll understand my philosophy on NFTs is NFTs are tickets that essentially get you things, whether that's exclusive content, whether that's access to the Discords, or sub Discords where the real sort of talk happens, and we'll get into some of that later. But it allows us entry or access to several things, including physical items, including other drops, and what we'll get into later today is metaverse. And so not later today, like, hey, we're going to hang out for a couple hours. I'm going to try and speed right through this and get you into just a quick update on Vogu. This is my guy Minty. You can see my arrows when I do this, but Minty is down here. Minty Fresh. I just love the wine, clearly. The wine shirts. Did I wear this like the other day too? Love the wine shirts. And just kind of found this guy because I think the wine shirts in this subsection of Vogu, you have the ways to distinguish, really, because a lot of times you're just looking at like these boxes, and I think you see over in the corner here, lower left corner, you see what's called a toaster. He doesn't have any ears, and again, if you would have listened to me, you would be doing pretty well, because you would have gotten those guys on the floor at like 0.35, and they're nearly let me go into OpenSea, but like they're nearly 1 ETH now, the floor of this project. And even if they represent the floor, I think as a group in the Discords and as a sub community, it's going to be kind of fun to be a toaster head. And so that's, I think, the interesting conversation going on right now with Vogu's is like, okay, amongst the rarities, what do we have that makes us groups, that makes us subgroups, that we can join sort of separate servers on, and I don't know, get up into some shenanigans, basically. Whether that's pricing, whether that's oh darn it, the I guess the encoding is a bit too strong for this, and so it's not allowing me to manipulate OpenSea. I'm gonna try again. and allow me to interact. Maybe I'll just try and refresh and then interact. No, it's not allowing me to do anything. Sorry, guys. So you have just a glimpse. Oh, hello. Took a while. Took a while. A glimpse at some of. Let me tell you, just MacBook Pros. You think we spend so much money on these damn Macs. This is a sidebar. We spend so much money on Macs to be visual artists and have something we think that is all about sort of bypassing the technology to get to the art. I'm hoping that their next generation of Macs really addresses their encoding. It's horrendous, and I mean you can just see how bad the live streams have been. Got a decent connection here at the studio lot. They hooked me up with a pretty good connection, so it's not that, and so it's a lot of this processing. So anywho, sidebar. Side rant. So that's part of the Discords, just these side rants with people and connecting about, what's going on in their lives. And a lot of times you'll find a lot of similarities within your community and sub-community, including like the person right there who has another tourist shirt. And so, you look at these and, a lot of the heads kind of, congeal together and you get very specific. I think the lower right there has a LCD screen. That's called the emoji. And so, something like that separates it and creates its own class. In this, I found that, quickly people began to distinguish by what the Vogu is wearing. And so if it was a kimono, they formed the kimono group. Because it brings an instant rarity. So like the tourist shirt, instant rarity. Another group that was pushing hard today is the Green Gang, and certainly my guy's a member of that. And so, you're just trying to find, I think, the people that you can get along with in those, and then you kind of rally for support with the channel moderators to say, hey, we'd like to form our own subgroup. Within that, we can delve into fan art. There's been some really great fan art and people who are taking the green group to an extreme, sort of a 420 extreme, and creating fan art about it. So that's like an easy one. But there's been a great background, people creating backgrounds for each other's Vogus to show them off in different ways, and that's another thing that became a bit of a rarity. There were I think about 50 sets. Well, 50, about 2, maybe 3 sets. There's made by artists. 2 were made by artists. One was just kind of this very ominous but cool-looking red background, and I'll just show you. But again, we'll work out how to work OBS and live streaming through a MacBook Pro. A little different as we go on. So that's kind of the general thing about Vogu's. The floor was going through the roof. I think the last I was talking with you guys, it was like 0.4, and it's doubled. It's nearly, the floor has got to be 0.99 this morning. And so it's right about 1 ETH. And that's what's really interesting. And then, I started getting offers. Usually you get the sort of the offers tend to sort of lag in terms of like the value you think your NFT is worth, and so somebody's going to offer you much less than perhaps what you paid for it, about half, or they'll start creeping up until you sort of capitulate. This blew past it, and so my first over offer was for 40% more than what I paid, and so it might have been easy for me to make 40% in like 2 days, minus gas fees. Would have been not too bad because of the no gas wars at the moment, or finding certain times to work there isn't high gas fees. So in that transaction I could have done pretty well for 2 days. That's a huge win. I think a lot of people have expectations of like 10x immediately and to the moon, but in just you can see the activity within OpenSeas. You know, these on the you'll see on the bottom there sort of the last prices, and I'm gonna keep playing with this for you guys so I can try and see if I can interact. The prices below what they're for sale for, what they're we're going for, and damn it, not able to go through it. We'll work around this on the next one. And so that's kind of the Vogu catch-up, floor through the roof, and it's an exciting time. I think now because of that, a lot of people are talking about the project, and certainly as more press gets out, there's more interest. And they did the first drop, and the first drop was this is the Animetas. I'm kind of scrolling through as an experiment, showing off some of the NFTs that I've collected. We're beginning the show, and so that little Vogu head there was part of the Sandbox initiative, and this kind of leads into I'll talk sort of about again fuller utility as creators within utilizing NFTs, because that's the thing. If you can get to this level, it's rare. Let's be honest. There aren't a lot of projects that drop and hit like this that have the influencer sort of push and just cool art that things that people gravitate to. They can take this now, and they can take this into negotiating with metaverses and creating worlds. I think Sandbox, and today we're going to talk a little bit about BitCountry, who are metaverses that they're vying to try and bring audiences to their world, because just like Minecraft or something, it's just like you can just build something, and if you can get your community there, it's not unheard of to have that. And you see Mark Zuckerberg investing heavily with Facebook into turning Facebook into a metaverse. What does that mean? It's just something that's created within a virtual realm that is social, that allows these people in these masks. Imagine all of us just being able to meet up, all of the Green Gang, able to meet up, and so by creating these platforms, and you if you look at the Decentraland, you can market to them. You can build brands who are going to pay through the nose just to have storefronts, in these central areas. And so that goes. Follow DCL Blogger if you want to learn about that stuff. One of my favorite guys who was in that space, and he's also doing a lot more recently. I think he understands it. There's not a lot of this content out here, and so thanks for being here. And, I think it's humble beginnings, and I appreciate you guys if you could just like, subscribe, hit bells, stuff like that, or just go make something and be like, hey, dude, I was really inspired by something you talked about, and that hit for me, and I wanted to make something, and I think that's way more fulfilling to me than subscribers for me, or bell notifications. But it is a metric here, and it does help us out here on the channel. So, Animetas. It was a drop that I wanted to tell you guys about, but I was literally so busy, and I felt like I didn't want to. I guess I just should from now on, just ape into things and bring you guys with me. I think it was, I went over how I ended up, getting an Animeta, and then the bottom guy here with the beanie and the glasses is what I got out of that, getting bumped out of the mint and then going to OpenSeas right after, before the reveal. They left a lot of time before that reveal, to a lot of people's dismay. But, it was different. So it changed, it created a sub sales zone. And I thought it was really interesting because, again, guys, as creators, this is my perspective here on this channel. We can collect, and that's fun, and I'm going to collect like crazy as a creator, because I'm a fan of this stuff. But as a creator, imagine this cash flow. You've created a mystery gambling window with your NFTs, there was a lot of transactions. You're getting a piece of those transactions. And my gosh, look at the transactions today, for something like Vogu. Those guys are killing it. It's insane because you're getting a piece of these sales. Now, as a creator, by opening up that sort of gambling zone of like, hey, this is a mystery box NFT, you might get a rarity, who knows, but I think you almost have to do this process now because not everybody's going to get in on a mint. We saw with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, what did they do, like 30,000 or something like that? And they still had 40,000 people in line just to buy. And so they're going to attack the secondary market. Now, if you can create that same mystery of a launch with, this idea that you could still get a rarity if you buy, somebody who's willing to sell at the floor because they want to, maybe go up 50% or double their money off of a mint right away, minus gas fees. That's their prerogative. Like they're going to go to OpenSea and they're going to put it up on the marketplace. And so those who buy on the floor are then, privy to an experience of it's gambling. You're like, okay, I think I could get a rarity. And that's what I did here with Animetas. I was like, okay, what sort of rarity can I get? And that's the thing with rarities. He's a cool looking guy. He's got glasses and he's got a beanie. That apparently makes him pretty rare in terms of like the 10,000, the series. This guy ranks somewhere around 3,000, top 30%. What's that, like a BC for grading on an academic scale? But when you have these rarities, it's cool. But does it speak to me? And my perception of art and what I think is cool. I think Animetas is super cool in that much like CryptoPunks went very 8-bit. Animetas did this it feels very Sega. Like, I want to find the Sonic the Hedgehog one of these. And these they look just like bad guys from like a Sega game, and that's cool in its own right. So I dig the art. I dig where they went with it. I think they were trying to lean on, when they said Animetas, a bit more of an anime style. So it's kind of a cross section of that. Trying to lead, I think also, when we're creating things, we're also trying to connect to genres. So they would say, oh, hey, if you're a fan of anime, this is something for you too, as well as, if you like NFTs or, horror, the sci-fi, the guys down here. I think that's what Vogu did, fans of like sci-fi and like punk, crypto-punkish kind of style. And so in this style, it's cool, and it has a lot of value in terms of its aesthetic, but more so their roadmap is gaming. And so right now they're working on hover cars, and so in I don't know how many months, to be honest, these development people seem very relaxed and okay with saying like, oh yeah, it'll be a couple months. It doesn't hurt them to not deliver, because they're doing pretty well and they're living pretty large given their nice drop. But the money's going to run out for them pretty soon, and then so in about 6 months, I'm telling you, just like calculate the money, follow the money, guys. You follow the money. These guys are going to be cranking out hoverboards and hover cars, because that's what they're going to be first racing in about 6 months, because this money's going to start running out. The secondary market's going to be like, we don't know if this thing is coming, it's going to dwindle. They're not getting sales, they're not getting money. They're going to drop them, because the hover cars are then going to have rarities, are then going to be able to connect with each of these guys or girls and have, or cyborgs, and have special properties in combination. And so I think that holds a very unique space within, NFTs and gaming right now, and that's exciting. That's super cool, because then you can compete in a race and do like a Z race, a Z run. I'm kind of a fan. I haven't quite invested in a Z run yet, which is a horse racing gaming experience on a TV that's been around for a long time. It's just they did a really simple straightforward game, and it's sort of incorporated the CryptoKitties breeding element. I mean, it was just a no-brainer. A no-brainer. I'm getting so tired, guys. I've been working so hard. I gotta fly in a couple weeks, and so these things are going to go by the wayside for a little bit. But it's not easy. I think a lot of people are experiencing burnout with this space, but I enjoy it still, and so that's why I try and take the time to do this stuff. So slurred speech and all, thank you for being here. Like, subscribe, please. Thank you. And helps us out. And so I wanted to, chat very briefly about the progress, because the next updates for Animetas are going to be months away, to be honest. And so if you want to get in, look for weakness in the floor price. I did a video on sort of how I approached it, and I ended up just saving money just by hanging out and understanding, being on the Discord, knowing when it was going to reveal. And you can see the market for that gambling opportunity began to dwindle. Pricing floor went down, and then from the floor, you're just buying from the floor. Nobody knows what they have. Nobody knows what number 1972 is. Turned out to be this guy. And so in terms of its rarities, whatever, it's like you never know. And so buying off the floor is anyone's guess, until somebody starts screaming that, no, somebody knows the macros or something, and they try and dupe people into saying that they know the macros, and that, actually number 2574 is an ultra rare child, which is kind of the rare breed of the Animetas, is the child versions. They're super cute and they're super cool, and if you were going to invest in Animetas, I think, and you got some loot, I think that'd be a really fun one to get. The kids seem super cool. So Animetas to be continued. A lot of these are just going to be really to be continued, and that's why I'm here with these, because I love the freaking roadmaps. I'm here for the roadmaps. As a creator, I want to try and identify ones that I feel like, oh hey, this property might go well with that, and can't wait to hear your guys' ideas and pitches on stuff that we can work on together. Now, Big Country. Again, I'm going to try and make this thing interact with us. Ooh, this one might. Okay. So this one seems to be interacting. So Big Country is on the polka dot. Getting very tired. Polka dot blockchain that is kind of one of the co-creators of Ethereum. Said, screw you, Vitalik. What you're doing is wrong. Let's make this very universal, and I think just had some different ideas basically on how to approach it, and they're very powerful ideas, and they're making a lot of great headway with Polkadot, and it's an impressive project. Clearly a lot of smart people behind it, but it also has just this close kinship to Ethereum that also is going to allow them to interact with Ethereum. It's clearly not natively, but in a very strong connection to whether that's a secondary chain, parachain, or what have you. Technology abound, and so on this Polkadot platform, everybody's trying to be the NFT marketplace, trying to be the DeFi, of this space, and so there's a lot of great projects on these, and one of them is a metaverse on Polkadot, and this one's called Bit Country, and so I got exposed to it very early on, and they're really just at the ground stages of building their community, and I kind of love being there on the ground floor, right? And so if you want to check out this ambassador program that they have. I'm not shilling for it. It's just something I'm catching at this stage, and I think a lot of projects are pushing to be at this stage right now, to be discovered, to be found, to build their audience, because the earlier they can do that, the more they're going to land with. And so by the time they have a fan base, they then, because on Polkadot you have to apply for utilizing, basically I did this on the Kusama blockchain, which is sort of their test net for their main net. It's like DeFi, you stake coins, and I got some of a proprietary coin by staking within for one coin, with Polkadot, and then this coin, creating sort of a liquidity pool so that they can exchange, and it actually holds it for about 18 months, and it has like 6-month sort of recurring examinations of how long the parachain can exist on Polkadot. So sorry, we're getting very quasi-technical, to the point where it's just like over my freaking head, guys. Like, I try and look at Solidity, and I try and understand that, how to program it to some degree, but when we're dealing with structuring blockchains, that's it's a bit intense and heavy, but the vision for it, I think, is quite clear, and that is to create utility for its chain and bring these properties like a metaverse. Now, metaverse, social media, the bringing together of those two is very, very potent, and that's why if you go to Defiance, you'll find an interview with a gentleman about 2 weeks ago who believes that this type of interaction is going to be bigger than DeFi. This type of interaction is going to be, Zuck knows, the Facebook of the future. This is how these projects are going to have so much clout and influence over a lot of things, because they're going to be able to advertise in a cacophony, in a sort of like, in a closed room. They're going to be able to turn on lights. Oh, what's over here? Oh, that's Zappos. Oh, those shoes do look cool. Oh, you know what? I want to NFTize. I want to have a real version of my NFT shoes delivered to me by Converse is gonna create based off of what my NFT looks like. And so it's easy for those marketing guys to connect with this stuff. It's easy for the guys over at Funco to be like, oh yeah, let's, by selling, instead of just selling you this, we'll make you buy an NFT and get you to believe it has value. And for them, there's just like a direct sale to another collectible, and so that has some value, to some people. And I don't want to flood on anybody's project. I think that's just kind of what they were doing, and it works for them, and that's cool. But you can see how it's easy for marketing to tap into things like this, because they understand, oh, okay, I have an audience here. Metaverse's big problem right now is how to get the audiences. Theta Network, it's my long theory, is more of a metaverse than it knows, and it's trying to be. I think maybe it knows. The way you look at the patents that they're trying to get are associated with NFT utility, and them bringing big stars like Katy Perry to their universe allows for discoverability. Like, oh yeah, they gave me an NFT. What do I do with this? Oh, I have to go to and log into this Theta thing. Okay, now if Theta, this is what Sandbox is doing. This is what BitCountry, I think, in its earliest stages here is looking to do, is saying, oh, okay, great, you have an NFT. Well, you can create something for your group here, and we'll be happy to provide programming and help people out, because I think it's in their best interest. And so talking with other creators about how they're approaching creating metaverses, it sounds freaking intimidating. It could be as easy as playing Minecraft, honestly, but it is as complex currently on the blockchain as incorporating it into blockchain, leveraging and utilizing a lot of the technologies like Filecoin, like maybe even Akash and like processing, to combine it so that the game can never die. I think that's it's really interesting if programmed well. You could have a game that's for me. I hate playing games that like my Xbox. Recently, one of my discs got scratched, and I was just so miffed that I'm just it's just I had to keep putting it in and popping out and cleaning it. And so this is a game that never dies essentially, and so there's a lot of power to that. There's a lot of danger, free speech. Hey, let's have that conversation one day with somebody who's way smarter than I am about that sort of stuff, including you. Please put some stuff in this comment section, and I'm happy to interact as best as I can. If not, I bring smarter people to the table. This is what I do in Hollywood. It's I can't shoot this. I need to get a director of photography who knows what he's doing with this camera to help me. And so it's a team sport, I would say. And I think that to some degree, I think metaverses are really clamoring right now to get to these NFT projects, because it's going to be a thing. Bored Ape Yacht Club is going to have, they have their sandbox. They're going to have a sandbox for, I just showed you Vogu, and so they're going to have these spaces, and what does it mean? They don't quite know yet, other than if they do get those 7,700 people there, they can go to an advertiser and say, hey, we've got these people here. Maybe you would like to purchase, X, and then market to them, and maybe you can drop some stuff on them for being early adopters. And I think that's a lot of people are excited by. It's a fun part. It's a fun aspect to it. The drops, the free stuff that you get by being part of these things. And so it's I like that part. Sort of the gamification of hey, this is fun stuff is happening, and because you're getting free shit that's potentially could be valuable. Look at the Bored Ape Kennel Club. That's why a lot of people are just hodling these current NFTs, especially for Animetas. Guys, in just a few months, they're going to drop a hover car on us, and then I'm going to be able to use that hover car in a game. And maybe my hover car is very rare, and maybe it's an alien one, or something different that somebody else might be willing to pay a lot more because their character fits well within the specs for that car. And so you have another marketplace that's ostensibly for free minus gas fees, but it's creating new marketplaces on top of it. This is utility. This is making it fun for our audiences, and so can't wait to see what you guys get into. Drop me a comment if I missed something on these drops, and let me know what's coming up next. It's we'll go through, maybe another video on how to track all the new stuff, and I definitely want to do a rarity tools guide for you guys, because I think it's a very interesting sort of time-consuming part of this process, where you get something and you're like, oh my gosh, this is is this cool? I got my guy with the beanie and the glasses, and I'm like, okay, wasn't in love with it, and to be honest, I'd probably given my druthers, I want to go and purchase one on OpenSea that I felt connected with a bit more style wise, but at this point it's getting expensive, guys, and so this is why I gotta work so hard to get more NFTs and be caught up, so that I have enough ETH, which went up like crazy today because it's burning tomorrow. Is it tomorrow? They delayed it, I know. I think it's the 5th, right? August 5th, they're going to be burning some ETH. And that's going to shoot prices up even more. So it went up at least 10% today. So, ETH is going to get more valuable. I'm not going to call when the flippening is going to happen, but it's going to happen. ETH is going to, it's just got so much more utility right now. And I look at some of the Bitcoin developers, and, I'm a part of a couple of those projects, and it takes them a long time. I think, once they get the liquidity, then they get the liquidity, and they sort of stall out because they don't know what else to do other than to be a DeFi. And it's like, well, nobody wants your token. What does your token do? Where is the utility? in the tokenization. And I think that's something that's a previous interview that I posted yesterday with David Bowler, artist, who's very keen on understanding tokenization, because when you have a token, there has to be value there. There has to be a roadmap to the token, and it's almost super simple. And I think DeFi is going to learn a lot from NFTs, and those two worlds combined are going to be very powerful, because once they understand the narrative behind possessing these things, you look at, I think Elliot Trades mentions this a couple of times. He's like, you're just sitting there on DeFi. It's just like, to some degree, it's just like, okay, like, cool, I got liquidity, and that's cool, but is it? Can I race it against somebody else? Can I compete? Can I change the narrative of a Stoner Cats storyline? Can I, do these things with it that are being offered? Because us as creators, we understand that the narrative structure and the value that it has, and us bringing visuals and sound and music and bringing art into the space is what's going to make this thing flourish. Blockchain is here because of art. Blockchain is going to stay because of art. I think there's utility in its financials, and it has that, but I feel like the art is going to make it stay, and that's why the NFT movement has been so powerful and sweeping and headline grabbing, sure, but it's also way funner than looking at your Uniswap every day and being like, oh, well, that's cool. I got a couple more of those today. All right, let's go have a good day. But maybe if I did that, I'd get a lot more rest. So thanks for stopping by. Hit that like,